Welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm gonna speak about knife crime in the UK. I'm gonna read some facts from different newspapers, mainly the Independent, the Guardian, and BBC, and then I'll speak about what we can do about it and what we're doing right now, why it's not the right approach. So, firstly, the number of offences involving knives and sharp instruments rose by 7% to 45,000 in the last year, which was 2019. However, the true figure is likely to be significantly higher as the offence for national statistics did not include Greater Manchester Police's total because of IT issues. Around a third Over a third, 34% of all offences were recorded by the police in London. Altogether, there was 179 offences for every 100,000 people in London. There are an average of 82 offences for every 100,000 people in England and Wales. According to the latest statistics, assault with injury and assault with intent to cause serious harm offences and robbery each accounted for 44% of all offences involving a knife or sharp instrument, and the grim tally is rising fastest in wealthy areas such as Surrey, Sussex, Hertfordshire, and Norfolk, which have seen an explosion in knife offences. In Surrey, knife crime has jumped the highest in the country with a staggering 618% increase in knife crime over the last 10 years. Offences more than tripled in Sussex in the same period, climbing from 346 in 2010 to over 1,100 in 2019. Meanwhile, in Hertfordshire, cases rose by 166% between 2010 and 2019, increasing from 272 to 723. Britain's knife crime epidemic is quickly spreading to rural towns and villages. Kent Kent saw a 129% surge, up 447 to 793 per year. Merseyside leapt up 153% to 1,504, and Leicester grew 101%, up from 432 to 869. In England and Wales, knife crime nationally has risen 49% in just 10 years. In January, the Sun online analysis of Met Police figures showed 10 people were being caught with blades every day on the streets of London. London's knife crime explosion has fueled the capital's highest murder rate in more than a decade, with 149 people killed in the capital last year, 90 in stabbing attacks. Now, reading those statistics shows the extent of knife crime in the UK and particularly in London. A lot of people have um, put a lot of blame on drill music and the drill genre and gangs. That does have a valid point, but solely putting a blame on that is not going to solve anything. And the police using all their energy, resources, and money to put banning orders on certain individuals and certain groups is useful, but they could use that time and money better to tackle the issue in a better way by seeing why all of this knife crime is happening. They could go right to the root of it, speak to the people involved, speak to the victims, and find out why it's been happening. And when they find out, they can tackle why it's happening and put a stop to it and educate people, and that way they can stop knife crime altogether and sustain it long term, rather than just banning a few people and stopping a few people recording a few music videos, which doesn't really do anything for the long term. also um um just having police officers patrol more often in those high risk areas isn't gonna help, because you just then people are gonna know that there's gonna be more police, so they might not come out in those times, or they might hide it better, or find a way around it. They should have police all the time, or they should have general people and members of staff with machinery that they can detect knives, and they need to um, have a plan in place where they can see their progress the year, measure it, and see how effective is being. And the areas that are most effective, like in London, different areas, they can uh, give set a budget to the council and let them tackle it without uh, in London, instead of the main police units like the Metropolitan, they're using the whole budget. They should give it to individual councils which are most affected by knife crime, so they can deal with it in their own circumstances individually, as they know their borough more better than uh, the Metropolitan. And with the with the blame on um, music and other things, that's like saying that, oh, let's blame terrorism on Islam, and then let's ban Islam, and then does terrorism stop? Terrorism has been happening before before Muslims arrived in the UK, or so doing that wouldn't really help. So same way with knife crime. Knife crime has been around before drill music and all these other genres and things like that. So that might be part of the problem, but it's not the problem itself. So instead of just hiding behind drill music or other things, the police need to come together and find a solution for the whole of the UK, and um, don't rush to a solution. Find a solution that will last, that you can sustain, that you can implement and measure, and in that way you can reduce the people dying, and you can also see that your strategy is working, rather than just saying that you're gonna have more people, more police officers on the street patrolling, more stop and search. You're gonna ban certain videos on certain individuals and things like that. That's just aggressive short term and doesn't really help that much, as you've seen, because they've stopped certain groups and certain individuals doing certain things and making certain videos, but knife crime is still continuing to rise. So that shows it's not just down to music or videos; it's down to other things, and the police need, and the government need to find out what it is and put a stop to it, instead of just letting more people die because they don't know how to get to the bottom of it.